Well, hello everyone. I wanted to read you guys another story, and today's story is called A Taffy Tale. Ted, Doris, and Amy were making taffy. Doris stirred, and Ted read the directions from the cookbook. Amy's job was to butter a pan. So far she had only buttered her hands and face. Cook until it forms a soft ball when dropped in cold water, read Ted. Amy, you get a cup full of water. Amy trotted over with a cup. The handle slipped in her buttery hands. Water sloshed over the stove, and with a hiss, Doris forgot to stir, and the taffy boiled up and up. "Look out!" yelled Ted. Both he and Doris grabbed for the spoon and stirred wildly. Little Amy, watching them, absent-mindedly drank the rest of the water. "Maybe I'd better stir," said Ted, when the taffy was under control. "You drop some in the cold water, Doris." "What water?" asked Doris, looking in the cup. She ran for more and dropped a little taffy in. "Is it a ball?" Doris asked doubtfully. "It's a softball," admitted Ted. "It's good," said Amy, eating it. They took the taffy off the stove and poured it onto the pan. When it was cool enough to handle, they each took a lump and pulled and pulled and pulled. "I thought," Doris said, "it was supposed to get stiff." "It is," puzzled Ted. "How are you doing, Amy?" Amy was sitting in the corner, eating taffy off her fingers and hands and arms. "Good and sticky," said Ted. "Maybe it was too soft a ball." Doris looked at Amy. She said, "Well, if the taffy won't pull, who cares?" She wound some around a spoon and licked it. Guess we're pretty good cooks after all." Well, that's a neat story. Sounded like they didn't exactly get what their recipe required of them. Sounds as though they ended up with something a little softer, more malleable than what they expected. I guess they might not have reached the proper temperature. Have you guys ever cooked candy with your mother or your father? If not candy, maybe like a cake or something. You know, there are certain recipes that you have to follow. And if you don't, it's all going to turn out a mess. Well, I guess it's time we went on with another story. Now, if you don't remember, we were introduced to Mr. Hustlebustle a while back. Now we're in for a little bit more hustle-bustle. Hustlebustle's cage was in the kitchen, near the back door. One day, a truck driver knocked at the door, which was open a little. Mrs. Brown was upstairs, settling little Mike for his nap. The driver had a load of coal for the Browns, and he wanted the basement window opened. Hustlebustle was dozing, but the rap woke him. Hustlebustle loved raps. They meant company and a lot of talking. Come in," he called, just as Mrs. Brown always did. The truck driver called, "I'd better not, ma'am. I'm pretty dirty. I have some coal." Hustle Bustle gabbled happily. "Well, well, Gapu Polly Fuddy Fab. Hello, hello, goopity gum bop, fiddly fay." "I was saying, ma'am," the truck driver interrupted patiently, "I must have your basement window unlocked, so—" "Well, well, well," Hustle Bustle exclaimed in tremendous surprise. "Goodbye now, goodbye." "But, ma'am," the driver rapped loudly on the door. Come in," Hustle Bustle invited sociably. "Ma'am," the driver pleaded, "if you'll just open." "Well, goodbye," said Hustle Bustle. "Goodbye." "Ma'am," cried the driver as Mrs. Brown came politely downstairs. "Do you want something?" she asked the man politely. The poor truck driver said hoarsely, "Ma'am, I just want your basement window opened, that's all." Hustle Bustle yelled heartily, "Well, come in." The trucker asked in surprise, "Wasn't that you, ma'am?" "No," laughed Mrs. Brown, "that is our parrot." The truck driver shook his head. "A parrot," he muttered. "Imagine a big guy like me getting fooled by a bird." Another wonderful story. It sounded like that time we were introduced to a new character, the coal delivery man. You see, a long time ago, people didn't get electricity through their houses. Instead, they received coal. And usually, your coal would be deposited into the basement of your house, where it was most energy efficient. You see, down there you would have insulation from the ground that would help to keep that warmth in your house. And then the radiation from the coal would warm your house. I wonder, did coal delivery men come at the same time that maybe a garbage man would today? Maybe coal delivery men woke a couple of people up. Well, it's been a wonderful time reading you guys a story, and I hope to read you another one very soon. Good night, Ava. Good night, Archer. Good night, Gideon. Good night, Fletcher. And good night, Elias. I'll see you all very soon.